This is Whitney. I met her at the Little Maryhurst store, where a former foster child has a picture on the wall.
Do you have any idea who she was?
No idea. It's Marilyn Monroe. She had a tough childhood, you know. She had a really tough time.
I think a lot of people did.
People like 14-year-old Whitney, who has lived the fundamental problem of American foster care.
Like, they would nail my window down, and I would try to jump off the roof because I felt like nobody wanted me.
Damaged kids acting out, and foster parents who don't have to keep them, so the kids are often sent from home to home, school to school. Whitney to 5 foster care placements while she waits for a mom who keeps going on and off cocaine and other drugs. Whitney has even cut herself, certain she's responsible for her mother's trouble.
It was my decision to skip school. I can be a very sweet person, and I can be a really mean person. But mostly it's all sweet, less that I get upset.
She's incredibly attached to her mom, and a lot of it is because in some way she's had to parent her mom.
Then one day, Whitney learns that her mother is now in jail, and she'll get a chance to see her for the first time in 8 months.
You look so wonderful. Hi.
In the face of a little girl, so much yearning.
And I'll be going to my drug place, drug rehab, and then after that I'll be out.
We can be together.
It's like starting all over again, anew. We're going to look different, we're going to act different, we're going to be happy and safe and drug-free.
And Whitney believes her one more time. By the way, her mother is also a product of foster care.
Say your prayers every night. And you're looking more like me every day. Okay.
I love you.
Do it.
1, 2, 3. Love you.
Love you. Later.
Later.
As the gates slam shut, Whitney heads off to her 6th foster care home to wait once more. By the way, studies have shown among foster kids, post-traumatic stress is twice that of war veterans. 52% end up with mental health problems. Across the country in Salem, Oregon, another child with a strange history.
I just want to get back to cleanup.
He is a 3-year-old with another mother, a methamphetamine addict, and another set of promises.
I'm not going to touch that ever again. Father, forgive me. And I promise to the Lord that I'll never touch that stuff again and I'll get help.
She has already had 3 children taken away. This is her 4th.
He would lick water up off the floor. I thought, this poor baby has been left alone with an animal.
This is the foster mother who says when she got the 3-year-old, he would roll on his back and pant. The mother denies it, but was his real caretaker the dog walking around the living room.
And he just kept doing all these dog-like behaviors. He would try to eat on the floor. I handed him a spoon and he just looked at it. He had no clue. In the middle of the night, I would get up and he'd be sitting on the front porch. And he'd be sitting there like a dog and he'd just watch the traffic go by.
So how many chances would you give this child's parent? This is Judge Pamela Abernethy, who's seen too many before and after faces of methamphetamine users. And she's seen the houses in which some of the parents live with their kids.
And there's usually human poop on the floor. Nothing to eat. There is drug paraphernalia. It is a hellhole. It is a hellhole.
So even though federal law gives a parent at least 15 months to straighten up and get back a child, Oregon now has a law that allows termination of parental rights to begin right away, no extra chances, in the worst of the meth houses.
I always just remind people, remember what it was like when you were 7 years old. Where would you go? Who do you talk to? You always love your mommy, you always love your daddy. Or you know you're supposed to.
Prosecutor Amajimo, chief of the Crimes Against Children Bureau in Brooklyn. She says the connection to biological parents is so powerful. Studies show the most successful foster care of all may be the pioneering kind we found in Louisville, Kentucky.
I'm Diane.
I'm Howard.
It's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Howard Danzy, a single father of 3 boys who once seemed a hopelessly abusive alcoholic who hit his kids. They were taken away. But a pioneering program, family group decision-making, saw to it first that the children were in a foster home in the neighborhood they knew, a church community, and near enough to Howard that if he stayed sober, he could see them all the time.
Take note of those feelings that you have.
Both Howard and his kids were surrounded by helping hands, counselors, therapists, AA meetings, and a devoted social worker named Sky Tangy, who started out
very stern. But after I started seeing that she was actually working with me and not against me, then I started, opening my eyes and realizing, she was there for me.
Today, Howard is 1 year and 6 months sober. His boys thriving.
You love them. I love my boys, that's right.
And by the way, all this cost no more than the $40,000 a year per child we all pay for standard foster care.
What's the best thing they've said to you since they came back?
I heard them tell me they love me, I heard that. Good morning. In the morning, everybody's saying good morning to each other.
And since we met with him in his tiny house, Howard has now moved into a house with a lawn and a future.
Yeah, boy,